Hey guys, and today Sean and I are going to do AFL Q&A episode 9.
Yeah, it's going along nicely, isn't it?
Ticking over, mate, which is what we want. All you got to do is just comment in below any questions you have, and the week after on the Sunday we answer those questions and hopefully give some insight to you guys.
Yeah, keep them coming. It'd be great if we go a full year of questions, wouldn't it? Like right through to even the finals, maybe, if we're still doing it there. That'd be awesome.
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
So, yep, just comment away any questions you have and as many as you can. So, but, the more questions, the longer the video goes. So.
Yeah, got a few today, which is good.
Definitely. We'll start off with Jake Brook at the top. What kind of player do Geelong need from the draft in 2015? Sorry if this question has been asked. I've missed the last few Q&As.
That's all right. I think it may have been touched on, but not exactly.
No, it might have been inadvertent, but I'll hear your thoughts after mine.
Sure.
I don't think it's a matter of what we need, but utilising what we have. And what we have is some guns sitting on the wings from our 2009 draft. A lot of players there, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is.
So I don't think we need to go get a great deal of the draft, but you've got to keep developing each year, of course. But in terms of getting players, key defender and a small forward would be applicable, pretty handy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've got plenty of ruckmen. I feel like we've got plenty of midfielders. We've got Cole Jasny, who's a big body midfielder, and he's exactly what we need. We could potentially get Dangerfield, so that would fill in another hole as well. So. And we don't have many small forwards, I don't believe. We've got Lang and McCarthy, and McCarthy's out injured. So, yeah, those are my thoughts, mate. You love the draft, so I'll hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, for sure. I think, Colin Jasny, of course, is our main hope in the back line for that key post.
Yep.
If there was a good option to get another younger guy, we could opt for something like that. Certainly the small pacey forward potentially as well, but we do have the likes of Gregson. We'll keep McCarthy on the list. And Lang's playing that role all right. I personally would like to see us, depending what order we are and what's about and how deep the draft runs, get a real gun midfielder, a real good prospect.
That'll help, yeah.
Because you can never have enough gun midfielders, and I think Selwood, Grady's young, but Kelly Bartel getting older. We've spoken about it's often Selwood and Duncan. So
very true.
While there's hope coming through with Caddy, Guthrie, a few guys showing promise. I think it'd be great to have another guy coming through. Would be fantastic if it's there and abouts by
whatever draft
10 to 15. Who knows?
Yeah, awesome.
You've got the next one, don't I? Joshua Instone. Do you think when Gary Ablett comes back, do you think Gold Coast will win games, or do you think it's the coach? Well, of course, when Ablett comes back, he will improve them immensely. But to answer the question, I think it's the players they have out. Rodney Eade, he maybe hasn't gone in as well as he would have hoped. His message might have not gotten through like he may have hoped. But
no.
I think if you look at the players they have out across all lines, all ranges of experience, it's unbelievable. They actually, I think the week or two ago, Malcheski was named as emergency, but it wasn't even right. Like they just had to name him just to field a sheet. So,
yikes!
It's really crisis time on the injury front for them. And I think it might take a year or something for Rodney Eade's coaching and old school style to get through and adapt and develop, because they're a very young side.
Yeah, certainly.
To sort of come together and produce, but definitely I think it's more a case of the players they're missing.
Alright, very good thoughts there. I've gone with, I reckon their culture's got a bit to do with it.
Yep.
There's been 2 incidents with drinking, so you would have thought players would have learned after once, and it shouldn't have happened in the first place. I guess Motlop should know better as well. He plays for Geelong, which is a highly credentialed club in terms of the culture. So
yeah,
and their injury list doesn't help as well. I think they've got probably one of the biggest injury lists, along with Brisbane. And in terms of the question, Abbott's a piece of the puzzle. In the overall scheme of things, their percentage increases if he's playing. Yeah, obviously, because they very rarely win without him. So yeah, he does help in some way, shape or form.
Oh, definitely. He's a pretty big piece of the puzzle.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yep, definitely. Footy collector, what has he got? 4 or 5 questions. He loves lots of questions. Best player right now besides 5. Top 8 right now besides Buddy. Who do you think earns the money? Top 10 Brownlow contenders. Robbie Gray versus Dane Swan. I guess we'll just swap between the two, and I'll go one and you tell me yours. And best player right now, I think David Armitage, Dane Beams. They've been pretty good lately. that there's plenty of other players I could mention as well, which you may right now.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon Daniel Hanbury for sure is he's flying at the moment, and Dylan Shield is in outstanding form. I think I mentioned those two guys' names quite frequently.
Yeah, they feature a bit. Yep.
Yeah, I really am rating their form.
Very
how
good.
about your top 8, mate?
Yeah, top 8's funny.
This is tough. I really had a lot of trouble here.
Me too. Yeah, there was a couple of crossing outs here and whatnot.
Yeah.
Hawthorn, Fremantle, Sydney, West Coast, GWS, Richmond, Adelaide, Geelong. Now, I've not got North Melbourne in there because they'll have a very tough draw and they're playing inconsistent at the moment and are an inconsistent side, full stop. But wouldn't be surprised if they made it.
Did you have Port in there? Or?
No, Port Adelaide in there. I think they're a bit off the rails at the moment, and they'll have a very tough draw as well. They'll play the best teams twice. Richmond just made the finals last year, so I think they're good enough to do it again. They're just starting to hit their straps. Geelong will have a very tough draw, so I don't think they'll be... Whilst I think Geelong are better than Richmond, GWS and Adelaide, I don't necessarily think that means they'll finish ahead of them, because we'll have a tough draw as well. GWS have a really easy draw along with West Coast, and the top 3 are the top 3, so there's my justification. Yep. Tell me yours.
Yeah, I've gone the Dockers, Sydney, Hawthorn, West Coast, the Giants, Collingwood or Richmond, probably leaning towards Richmond to finish 6th.
Yep.
Then the Pies, and then Geelong.
It's a tough one to pick.
Very tough. Of course, North Melbourne, Port Adelaide and Adelaide are the teams that have just missed out there.
Yeah, it's almost the top 11, isn't it?
There is. I know you don't rate North Melbourne overly highly, but they are capable, certainly, to make a spot in those lower rungs. I think, mainly just held off Port because of their really tough run, and they're not proven yet. King Hinkley said, we are just a run-of-the-mill side at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And as for the Crows...
It's a long way back from 5 and 6.
Yeah, with a tough draw too. And
Tigers are probably saying that 3 and 10 last year, but anyway.
And the Crows as well, similar. I'm not fully sold on them, but a couple of tough ones. I do think Collingwood will slip. I think the Giants may ever so slightly slip. I think they'll make the 8, but they could fall anywhere from 5 to 8.
Yes, certainly.
The Tigers I've been impressed with, and I think showing some of their better form. I think we'll just make it on the basis of what we've seen the last few weeks.
Yeah.
More games at Simmons.
Certainly. Yeah.
We're a decent side, and that top 3 speaks for itself. And West Coast, well, I wasn't sold on them a few weeks ago, but I've bought into that now. So I've got them in 4th.
They're somewhat proven.
Yeah. Got a dream run. They're playing great. There's players will come back. Darling's just come back. So you seemingly think it's all upside for them, and they've got the runs on the board at the moment, which is crucial. Trying to chase wins late in the year can be tough.
Very, very tough. And besides Buddy, who do you think earns the money? I've gone with not Travis Cloke and Kurt Tippett, but probably Dane Beams, I reckon. I don't really know what he's on, but I just know he puts in a great effort each week, and I couldn't think of any players, to be honest. Yeah. Without naming obvious guns, I guess.
Well, that's right. I think this question and the next, you can almost reel off the same names. Like, you speak about the best player at the club, they're going to more often than not get the most money. You think Pendlebury, you think Selwood's on a lot of money.
Ablett?
Gaz would be on, and even more so for sides that don't have, like Hawthorn would obviously have to spread it out a bit, so they wouldn't be massive.
We don't even know who their best player is.
Yeah.
Is it Jordan Lewis? Is it Hodge? Is it Mitchell?
Exactly.
That's evenly spread.
Roughhead, who knows? So, all the guns. You reel off a few guns, and Pritis, I'm sure, is on plenty after his Brownlow year. So, definitely a few. And that leads us to the top 10 Brownlows. I'll just read it out if you want, mate.
Yeah, it's just the top 10 midfielders in the competition.
It is basically.
Almost.
I do have Franklin in there, but look, I've gone Fife, of course, Hanbury next, Pendlebury, Dangerfield, Shield, Pritis, Gray, Luke Parker, Sam Mitchell was one guy I probably wouldn't have had in at the start of the year, but he's had a really good season so far.
And he polls well.
He does. And Lance Franklin. I think Parker and Franklin have had some quiet games, but also had some big games, which could be some 3 voters, but
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, so they're mine.
Oh, it's pretty much the same, mate. Fife, Armitage, Shield, Franklin, Dangerfield, Hanbury, Cochin even's in there. He's had a good couple of weeks, which could be a potential couple of 3 voters.
Yep.
Pritis and Joel Selwood. I don't know why Joel Selwood's in there.
Yeah, surprised that you got Selwood. I left out Armitage too, I must say, just because the Saints haven't won as many games, I think.
Yeah, it would be tough for him to get 3 votes. But
Yeah.
I think I picked Selwood in there because his second halves of the year are pretty good. But I don't generally rate Selwood as a Brownlow contender. I think I just didn't know who else to put in.
Yeah,
So,
no, fair enough, mate.
Just went with the obvious Selwood. What a great question we have up next, mate. Have a read of it.
Robbie Gray versus Dane Swan. It's a good one, isn't it? It's a tough one.
Oh, I could barely
Who
split
would you
him.
take, mate?
Well, in Supercoach, I know who I would. And that'd be Robbie Gray. Maybe Robbie Gray just. It's a very tough one because I'm...
You're the coach of the team, mate. You got to pick one. Schoolyard style, you're picking Robbie Gray.
Style. Yeah, I reckon I'd just have to go Robbie Gray. He does a lot to offer. He's always silky, performs every week, basically. He barely has a bad game. Rarely has a bad game. And he kicks multiple goals. He can be a match winner as well. Not saying Dane Swan can't do that, but maybe not as often as maybe Robbie Gray could. But you could make an argument that Swanee's been the possession king. He's been fantastic over so many years, whereas Robbie Gray's only been fantastic for maybe the last couple because he has been injured.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick, right now, maybe even in their prime, both of their prime, maybe just Gray just.
Yeah.
I know you love Swanee, mate.
I do love
So this will make it interesting. What have we got?
It pains me to say, but I would go right now. I'd go Robbie Gray.
Yep.
Because of all the reasons you just said. Swan's in pretty damn good form, I must say.
Yeah, he's not
Gray
playing
has
bad
been
footy. Yeah.
week to week, and he's very explosive. The one thing I know with Swanee is a big game performer. Gray, he has so far in the home and away, but he's probably had less exposure to some really big games.
4 goals against Fremantle in the final
last
year, one in the game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just he probably hasn't had much exposure to do it.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah.
I would go Robbie Gray, but if I was choosing one at their peak, I would go Dane Swan. I would go Swan. Just
you wanted Brownlow, so
at his very best, and Gray could continue this form for a couple of years. You never know.
Yeah,
but,
exactly. Very tough question.
Very tough one. And next up, we have Reed Patterson Home.
Interesting
A
name.
random as name. And obviously the Crows, with a little symbol there. He asked one, will the Crows make the 8? And are Port Adelaide still a flag contender? Well, I've got a couple of no's there for you, mate. Sorry, buddy.
Got that.
I actually scribbled out yes at first, I thought. And then I got to our above question and looked at the top 8. and I
It doesn't...
crossed out yes and put no there. Because they are well placed at the moment, of course. I think they're in 6th. They have the bye at the moment. But look, I think they're probably going to drop out. So,
Top 8.
yeah, I just feel as if they don't bat as deep in certain areas. They have a big reliance on Walker. And the sides below them, I think, the ones we mentioned making the 8 that'll jump in, I just feel they're slightly better than the Crows.
Fair enough.
And are Port Adelaide still a flag contender?
He asked this a few days ago.
Yeah.
5 days ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, that's a good point. But even so, no, I would have said no before the Geelong game, probably, because you got to show something to be a flag contender. That's not to say that they could reel off amazing... Like, if they got back to their form 6 weeks out, ran to the finals in hot form, got into the top 8, they could be a danger, but history shows you got to be top 4 to win a flag.
Exactly.
And they're just not going to be top 4. So, a couple of no's from me, but what do you reckon?
I reckon maybe yes for the Crows. I'm not fully sold on them, and I don't think I will be till round 23. So, I think they're a good chance to make it, but they're certainly by no means definitely going to make it. I reckon they were deemed as top 4 after their first couple of weeks, mate. So,
yeah, they were.
Bit of a reality check there, maybe. But Port Adelaide still a flag contender? Probably not. They have to make top 4, and even as an interstate side, I believe you've got to make top 2 to be a chance. Because if you're playing at the MCG away, or even worse in Sydney or in Western Australia, when you're not native to that place, it's so hard to get a win, and it's almost a loss there. And then you can't make it because you don't have that week off, and history shows you don't win if you don't have that week off in the finals, for whatever reason.
So they're not a flag contender, mate? You said probably not a...
No.
They're not.
No.
Alright.
Not at the moment.
No, fair call. Fair call.
Sitting on the fence.
He loves that fence.
Dicko HD, you mofos make me laugh. Ever thought about stand-up comedy? Well, I haven't heard mofos for quite a while, nor said it, so it's
No, that's pretty loose.
No, my actual questions are, for all the times you have gone to the games, have you ever been on camera in the crowd, and what was happening while you were on camera? Just a bit of streaking, mate.
Yeah.
Would you guys ever add anything to your channel apart from AFL one day? If so, what would it be? P.S. I'm going to give you blokes a shout out on my next Dicko's Footy Talk.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Dicko. Good on you, mate. Well, stand-up comedy, even though that's not your question. I've thought about it, and that's all I've done. I've just thought about it. I don't think you're all on board with it, mate, but that's alright.
I think you're a better commentator, mate. I'll give you that.
Alright, thanks. In terms of being on camera, we were on camera in the Australian Open this year, which was on the camera at the local ground, not on telly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought so. And bit of waving around and being crazy. So, yeah, that's about it. What about yourself?
Yeah, I've been on maybe 5 or 6 times, actually.
Shit, man. Where have you been?
Oh, Etihad Stadium, we sit 2 rows back from on the wing there, so get a bit of airtime there. And, yeah, I think we're row E at Simmons Stadium, also on the half-forward flank wing, so... Yeah, a bit of airtime from time to time. As far as what's happening, I'm just watching the game. There's nothing really interesting.
Supporting like a crazy man.
Yeah, no, I haven't been caught. I get a bit animated sometimes, but I haven't been caught doing that. Just a bit of discussing with the old man, generally. So.
And he's been on camera in the '94 qualifying final, I believe.
Yeah, you can actually look
it's on YouTube.
Yeah, when Billy Brownless kicks a goal, a couple of his in the bottom left corner, clapping like a madman. He's loving it, but...
Beautiful.
You don't know what my dad looks like, so you probably won't see it.
Would you guys have anything... well, this is probably a question for me to answer, but
yeah.
Not really, because when you make YouTube channels, videos, whatever, they've got to be, I guess, relevant. So if I all of a sudden make a cooking tutorial next week...
You're going to make a cooking tutorial.
That is certainly not relevant. People subscribe to see AFL stuff, and that's basically it. So you don't sort of send them wayward to... Oh, now he's showing me how to cook, tea and whatnot. It's like,
those 2-minute noodles, surely.
Yeah, it's 2-minute noodles. Yeah, so I just, that's just sort of how you go about it. You got to, if you're making a channel, make it relevant to what you're doing, I guess. So,
yeah, nice and precise.
Yeah, because if you get subscribers, they want to see more footy content. They want to see more Geelong reviews. They want to see more Q&As, etc. So you got to keep them on board with what you're actually doing. They're subscribing for that reason.
Good point.
There you go. Travis Humphreys, do you guys only support AFL, such as VFL, Sandful, Neefle, Waffle? A few rhymes in there. Depends on what state you live. Yeah, I only support AFL, yeah. That's as simple as it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, mate.
Yeah, I keep a pretty good interest on the VFL, but I wouldn't say I support it. I mean, I don't really go out to the VFL and watch too often. From time to time, but that's pretty much dependent on what the AFL's doing.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch a neutral AFL game than a VFL game, probably.
Yeah, fair
even with
enough.
the Cats in it. Sometimes I like seeing the youngsters run around for the Cats, but there's not many playing at the moment.
No, they're all injured.
Yeah, and of course it depends on the state, doesn't it? I mean, I look at the other results and who's in the best sometimes, but I certainly don't follow
heavily
Sandful or anything like that. No,
Yeah,
not too closely.
Yeah, only if it's told to me, like Tom Mitchell getting 63 possessions last year. I mean, that's all I heard about the Neefle, really. And how Adam Goods was playing in the Neefle this year, so
yeah,
I don't care too much about other stuff. But
yeah, the junkyard dog, eh?
Yeah,
he loves a question.
It's good. Keep it going, mate. Go for it, mate. Read it out.
Yeah, if the AFL did not exist, what sport would you follow? What was the most boring match you ever watched? And what was the most entertaining match you've ever watched? Gee, if the AFL didn't exist, I'd be pretty sad, man.
He loves to have the AFL not exist or Geelong not exist.
Nah, look, I love my cricket, but that's over summer. I follow that pretty close anyway. I'll probably maybe keep a closer eye on the the tennis, ATP tour potentially. But
very nice.
I wouldn't take up the A-League or rugby or anything like that. No.
Snooker.
Yeah, I do like
keep an eye on that one still.
Yeah, if I had Foxtel, I'd keep an eye on it anyway. But yeah, if the AFL didn't exist, maybe I'd just make myself get Foxtel.
Sounds like a plan, mate.
What about you?
I have to look at what I've actually written.
Refresh.
Maybe tennis or nothing. I pretty much love footy and I don't care much for cricket, and that's about it.
Yeah,
Pretty
basketball
simple
will
for
be another one that people talk about, but I'm not a massive rap for watching basketball.
I'd maybe contemplate the idea. That's about it. The games, mate.
Yeah, I remember.
Most boring and most entertaining, apparently.
Yeah, one game stands out for me was St Kilda Hawthorn. I think we worked out potentially 2008-ish, maybe.
We'll have to have a look.
Both were good sides, and I thought it was going to be a good game, but it was dewy weather, Saints playing defensive, and it was just an absolute shocker of a game. We'll have to look it up, and very low scoring from memory, and just real boring game. But look, I often think I like watching any game as a general rule. I think most have a decent story in them, even if they're not the best game of all time.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't often complain too much. As far as the most entertaining game, probably the Dogs and Geelong was one that I loved. Remember that one we were trying to look up? I can't remember if we found the year, but we won just, and I've just...
2009.
Oh, was that the one? Yeah, well...
Look, I'm guessing.
Could have been. It could have been earlier, but very close game, entertaining.
Oh, wait, 2006, I feel, where we won by a point.
Oh, yeah, it was 2006.
Dogs won by a point earlier in the year, then we won by a point, so we swapped it around.
Yeah, that was the one, mate. You know my match better than I do, but we have the tape at home, and I've watched it about 10 times, so I just enjoy it. But,
gee, I want to watch it now.
Yeah, no, we can watch it later if you want.
Sounds good.
But, yeah, any finals as a general rule. I just love a final, the build-up, it's just...
The Eminem song. 3/4 times, like, we have to win here.
You'll lose yourself, it just goes off. But how about you?
Well, I think Carlton a few weeks ago, mate, we labelled as the most boring game.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So, but I've got a couple of other games, because that was maybe an obvious one, and, shorten the memory isn't always the best one.
Yep.
St Kilda and Sydney have a way of having absolute shocking games. 2006, I think it was Michael Ricks' debut, I'm pretty sure. I think it was 51 or 53 or something. There's a couple of points in it, but 14 goals scored probably. I've never seen so many stoppages or throw-ins, boundary throw-ins. I was going off my nut just how boring it was. And then St Kilda and Sydney in 2008, under the Dome, as I think it was called back then.
Yeah.
They kicked. It was 51 to 49 at full time. I couldn't believe it.
Jeez, not many games going to the cumulative 100 points. They just got there. But yeah, it's shocking.
Actually, that reminds me of St Kilda and the Dogs. Was it 49 to 46?
Yeah, that was
in 2010.
Record stat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Tom Harley said it and Dennis gave him nothing. So that was probably another boring game. But some exciting games, or most entertaining, I should say. Geelong West Coast in 2012, and we went over to Patterson's. There was a moment, probably more a moment in this one, and the context of what happened. Tom Hawkins got knocked out unconscious, and that was nearly the game right there, because he was killing it up forward for us in general over the year. He got knocked out in a marking contest when he fell down, hit his head. And then there was one point where Selwood and Selwood on each other. Selwood kicked it. The brother knocks him off his kick. Still found a target.
Yeah.
And then... plenty of booing, there's a bit going on there. Then the ball gets kicked down to the 50, and then Bartel Marks gives it off to Motlop, and then kicks the goal at nothing.
Exciting. And
then Dennis is like, so much happening here at the present time here at Patterson Stadium. So it was quite a funny moment. And we were up against it then, and we lost by, I can't remember by how much. It wasn't much in it.
Yeah,
so,
we floated around.
It was a game we had to win as well to make top four, and the Eagles finished 5th and we finished 6th, I think. So there you go. Minuscule right there, mate. That was a long-winded one there. Geelong and Hawthorn in 2012. That was like my most favourite home and away game to watch.
Yeah, Tommy Hawkins.
I was watching by myself actually. So to get out by 51 points against the Hawks at pretty much at their peak was fantastic. And they got back the lead, and it was just amazing how we came back. And I love a high-scoring game.
Yeah,
they're fantastic to watch. And to get the win there with Tommy Hawkins after the sign, that's pretty entertaining, mate. You can't go past it.
Yeah, definitely, mate.
Essendon Brisbane in 2006 was also another one. That's probably one of my most favourite games as a neutral supporter watching on. There was so many lead changes, and Essendon had won a game all year, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And they faced the Lions, and they won by, I think, 6 goals or something like that. Scotty Lucas kicked 7. It was Bradshaw down the other end. I think he kicked 6, and it was just one of those all-time classics to watch. And they have had some classic success in Brisbane. So yeah, that was very long-winded for me.
Nah, that's
Go for it, mate.
What do we got, Dari Joe here?
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, you said any final. Okay, yeah. No,
Yeah, pretty much any final. There was Essendon and Carlton. I remember a game not too long. Oh, it was probably a little while now, but just Goalfest. A flashback to the 90s where both scored. I think it was something like 120 odd to 115. So you don't get that high scoring games anymore. Yeah, this was a bit rare at the time, but yeah, very entertaining game. But have you got Dari Joe here, mate?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can both comment on it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for the great response to my question. Anytime, mate. Thanks for all your help and support.
Yeah.
Also, I really enjoyed Tim Lane's commentary on Channel 10 back in the day. Well, I hate to burst your bubble here, mate. I actually didn't really like him. He had a funny, weird voice. Oh, no, I can't even impersonate. I can like to impersonate most commentators, but yeah, I can't do Timmy Lane, and sounds a bit emotional at times. So yeah, those are my thoughts, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
sorry, not sorry.
I'm gonna have to agree with Tice. Yeah, I honestly didn't really enjoy him.
Yeah,
too much.
if he was on, I was like, oh gee, I hope it's Hutto and Quarters, but
and
when it was
Tim Lane, did my head in as well.
He is such a good player.
Captain obvious statement. Tim Lane, I think I like him on radio actually. Yeah. I think I prefer him for whatever reason, but
doesn't like his face.
I don't know. Maybe we just hate him for what he said against us with the Dogs and wrote us off or something.
Oh yeah, the 2010 comment.
But look, he's probably not my favourite commentator.
The days of domination are over. Yeah, no, he's certainly not mine. No, nowhere near it. So
we did our favourite commentators a few weeks back on the Q&A.
Yeah, we did. Go check that out. I can't remember what episode it was, but have a look.
A week or two ago.
Yeah, beautiful.
But thanks for the question, Dari Joe. Despite us not agreeing with you, it's all about opinion, I guess.
Yeah, well, we're not going to change our opinions to please everyone.
Oh, one last one from Tasha Elise. Good video with a big D face. Well, that's nice.
Oh, well, yeah, we try and make good videos each week, don't we?
Yeah, we try. It's
nice
to end it on a positive.
Yep, certainly. Well, that's all the questions, mate.
Fantastic.
We're all done for today, and thanks very much for all the questions, guys. Really enjoyed answering this week. Plenty of unique ones and really nice ones to get a bit of an answer to.
Keep the questions coming. If you haven't asked a question yet, don't be shy. Ask a question.
Yeah, no, we won't bite. So.
Yeah, about anything, about
anything footy related, footy related, Supercoach related.
Yeah, we done want a bit of research. Ask about other clubs who should be playing from the VFL.
Yeah, that's always a good one.
Why isn't this guy getting a game? Hit us up.
Beautiful. All right, that's it from us. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it. Share around to all your mates so they can ask plenty of questions. And don't forget to subscribe as well. That's the most important button on our channel, besides the play buttons from the video. Yeah. So, get onto that, guys. That'd be fantastic. Would really appreciate it. So thanks again for sticking around, guys, and we'll see you all next time.